It always surprises me and bums me out how many of you guys actually ask me the same sort of question in the comment section in my videos, and the overriding question usually is it too late to open my own studio? Well, the answer is absolutely not. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, welcome to this video. So today's video, I'm hoping to empower some of you guys into giving you the confidence and advice into moving forward into your new tattoo journeys. I'm also going to be sharing with you my personal mindset behind when I became a tattooist and how old I was. A comment that really stuck with me from one of you guys was, Jono, am I too old at 45 to become a tattooist, start a tattoo career and maybe even open my own studio? Even some subscribers asking if mid-50s or mid-60s was too old. Though I do genuinely believe there's more at play here, and it comes down to more of a confidence issue surrounding these questions. I was about 32 years old when I became a tattooist and around my mid-30s when I opened my first studio. The reason I say people ask these questions is more confidence issues and also maybe feelings like you don't belong in an industry filled with young, cool, cliquey tattooists, is because approaching studios for apprenticeships can be extremely stressful and can make you feel really inadequate. I remember years ago making an appointment and approaching a local tattoo studio for an apprenticeship. I took with me my artwork portfolio, and at the time I considered some of my best drawings. I remember the guy who owned the studio sat in a chair at the side of the reception desk when I walked in. He was eating a huge sandwich which was probably the size of a toddler. When I walked through the door, the receptionist, who wasn't a tattooist, was really polite and took my portfolio and passed it to the owner, saying, "This is the guy I told you about who's coming for the apprenticeship." He didn't even look up at me from his sandwich, though it did look a really good sandwich, to be fair. It looked like a cheese and ham, Wiltshire ham, something like that, but it did look really nice, to be fair. He started flicking through the pages of my portfolio. All the time I'm thinking, do not get your greasy ass hands on my drawings. He didn't even acknowledge what he'd just looked at, taking around 1 minute to flick through my entire portfolio, handed it back to the receptionist, and then said nothing. She clearly felt awkward about how rude this guy was and said to me, "It usually takes us a few weeks to get back to people," to which I thanked them for their time and left. What was really disappointing that day was the fact that I didn't get an apprenticeship, but also the fact that I really looked up to this guy and I thought his work was incredible, and I actually still do to this day. It was my first experience at how rude, ignorant and arrogant lots of tattooists can be. It's attitudes like this that can create a real crossroads in people's lives when they were made to feel that they couldn't physically open the door to that studio and inquire about that apprenticeship. When you really think about how ridiculous this is, you've got a real talent that could be shared with the tattoo industry, but you're made to feel inadequate by these tattoo gods with standoffish attitudes. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I genuinely think half of the time when a potential mentor sees an apprentice's portfolio, it scares them because God forbid anyone comes along and takes their light and knocks them off their ivory towers. So to answer the question, are you too old? Let me share with you this. I've taken on a few apprentices over the years, and hand on heart, age has never been an issue. The quality I look for in a potential apprentice is skill applied to their portfolio, plus understanding colour theory and light. I've had this conversation with one of my friends. I said I can decide within around 7 to 8 minutes looking at someone's portfolio and also speaking to them and decide whether I'm going to take them on as an apprentice. I get it, it's also a big decision for myself as a mentor to take on an apprentice because it's a huge commitment and personal time. I'm not saying for 1 second I take on every potential apprentice that walks through the door. You always get the proud parent which thinks their kid is the resurrected Da Vinci, but as much as a dick I sound like saying this, sometimes you just don't want to be rude. Like I've said, mentoring can be extremely time consuming, especially trying to run a business. Taking on the wrong person can be an extremely costly mistake. The reason I said earlier about honesty being important, I took on an apprentice years ago which promised me she had an artwork portfolio which turned out didn't actually exist. As it happened, not only did she not own a portfolio, she never owned a watch either to tell the time. As when she got comfortable, she never turned up on time. I specifically recall one time her client turned up at around 10 AM, which was his booked appointment time, and she swaggered on through the door at around 11 AM an hour later, didn't apologise to me, didn't apologise to the client, didn't answer the ton of missed calls I gave her asking her where she was. For me, it's all down to respect. If I'm dedicating my time and energy on someone that clearly has no respect, isn't getting my time or knowledge. So to answer your questions, are you too old? With personal experience as a mentor, I would choose taking on an apprentice in their 40s, 50s or 60s any day of the week over someone younger with a bad attitude and work ethic. In the case of the apprentice I've just mentioned, that particular person turned out to be your typical egotistical rock star tattooist and was just in it for the job title as a tattooist and was incapable of taking any form of constructive criticism, couldn't follow the simplest instructions when it came to demonstrating tattoo technique, and also actually unwilling to learn anything. I mean, why would they want to learn when they already knew everything? Needless to say, I eventually sacked this person, as the only thing she ever contributed to the studio was give me countless sleepless nights because of the terrible work that she was churning out. Not just terrible, but you know when someone clearly has no passion for what they do, which started showing on the client's tattoos, which wasn't not only fair on the client, but massively embarrassing for me because the clients were getting amateur tattoos from my studio. I do have to take some responsibility though, because I was wet behind the ears and I didn't question her about her elusive portfolio. I just assumed people were honest, so go figure that one out. Guys, the blatantly obvious thing that stands out here to me when people are asking if they're too old to tattoo, there's almost a mantra I say in lots of my video talks like this one, and that is, let your work speak for itself. Ain't nobody looking at a tattoo you've done on a client and saying, your tattooist must have been at least 45 years old. So to prove my point, I've got a little quiz for you to do. I'm going to show you some pictures of tattoos, so just sit back, make a mental note of each photo you see, and say an age in your head of the tattooist that performed the tattoo. Okay guys, that's the end of the quiz. Did you manage to get an age range of the tattooist who performed the tattoos? Maybe 28 to 35? Well, actually, I do know the age of the tattooist when all these tattoos were done. The tattooist was between 37 and 41 years old, and that's because all those tattoos were performed by me. So guys, my final piece of advice to end this video is to stop getting stressed, stop getting anxious about approaching that studio for that apprenticeship. Take control of your journey. Guys, if anyone knows, I know life is too short to be getting anxious about caring what people think when you walk through that door. So if any of you guys watching this can take the confidence to approach that studio and get that apprenticeship, I'd be really interested to know. So feel free to drop your comments in the box below. So now it's time to jump into the super thanks section of the video to thank all you guys that were awesome enough to leave me a super thanks in the previous upload. So just give me 30 seconds and I'll give you all a shout out. Welcome to the super thanks section of the channel, and this is basically a new feature rolled out by YouTube, and it's kind of like tipping your waiter or your waitress when a video's really resonated with you and helped you out. You can go into the like section and leave a super thanks. Now it goes without saying guys, I'm super appreciative to anyone that leaves a super thanks, and to show my appreciation back to you guys as subscribers, for everyone that does leave a super thanks on the previous videos, the next video upload, just like this section now, I give you all a personal shout out, on-screen mention, just to say thank you all, you're so awesome, and I really appreciate it. It doesn't matter which video that you leave the super thanks on, because I always get the notification and your name will definitely be mentioned on the following upload. Thank you so much for watching this video guys, and if you've taken anything from this video at all, it really does mean the world to me if you take a second out right now, smash that like button, let me know if you liked it, feel free to drop your comments in the box below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed, it's really important to check that notification bell, stay up to date with all my latest uploads. With all that said guys, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.